really nothing else there's nothing weighing heavily on your shoulders. Just something has just suddenly lifted off. That's the kind of mood I feel.
Right.
I feel fairly satisfied in a way. A lot lighter. A lot lighter. This is a very, I would say a very technical field. So you really have to be quite knowledgeable about this area, because one of the things that you're dealing with financial matters, you're dealing with investments, you're dealing with economic issues. So all these come to play. So having a very universal understanding of these aspects is very important. So for someone who's not been in this space before, I think one of the key intriguing issues is how do financial markets operate, and how do you manage on a day-to-day basis, because the markets are very dynamic, and so it's quite intense in a way, in that you have to respond to many issues, both internal and external and global, and so you have to really be sort of very agile in responding to these issues. A day is never the same. There are difficult days, extremely difficult days, and that's when what are we going to do? I mean, we're at a crossroad. You don't know what to do with these markets. I mean, when you see turnovers of 30 million, what do you do? I mean, you all get so stressed, so you wonder whether there's anything else you can do. So we go through those cycles, of very highs and very lows, and sometimes mid. But you'd basically be, you'd think that when you come and find it's very quiet, you think that's normal.
Yes.
But there's a lot of things going below the belly there that sometimes can be very intense. The most challenging season for us, in my recollection, has been when COVID struck in 2020. Sorry, we had just had a very great morning at an event. One of our clients had an event, and we were there holding each other, and everything was fine until 12 noon, when we had our first case in Kenya. Now, what happened that time? There was a shock in the market. So the market started decelerating in a very aggressive way. So we had to put circuit breakers continuously up to the point that it could settle. After that, we now had to transition. I mean, the government came up with all these health protocols, and people had to go into virtual. Now, we had been having a virtual plan, but it was just in paper. But all of a sudden, we had to transition this whole market virtually. And you're talking about a market that has to open tomorrow. So 3 o'clock, we are all here. 9 o'clock tomorrow, you're not supposed to be in the offices. So that whole transition, that overnight, ensuring that the markets will open tomorrow, was quite dramatic. And just making sure that there's stability, because again, when there are those shocks and upheavals, markets tend to get very crazy swings. So we have to really be on top of things. So it was quite a new development. My staff had never worked at home. I was wondering how they'll work at home, all these mechanics and everything. It was quite a challenging time. So for me, that was a real low, and we're just thankful that we were able to come out of it. They say it gives you character development. I've learned to be very patient and very tolerant, because in a market like this, you're always facing the camera in one way or another. When markets don't do well, you'll see high criticism every day. I mean, one time I woke up and I found a 2-page spread about the capital markets, and that the price of a share was cheaper than the price of a tomato on a Sunday. And my wife was like, "Whoa, how are you taking that?" I just said, "I'm absorbing it like a man." I let them go home, then I scream anyway, just joking. So One thing I'm grateful is that I came from a very, I would say, I worked in the financial sector all my life, financial services, from insurance to asset management, corporate finance, stock broking, and here. So I've always been in a high stress environment. So it wasn't very new. So I know how to handle stress. But what I also do is that I take time outs, because you need to get time outs in this kind of work. So I'm a very active gym. I like the gym a lot. I do a lot of walks. I socialize a lot. And those opportunities, then you're able to just unwind. I'm glad I have a great team, so my stress levels are disbursed to my team members, and they're able to resolve those issues. And we work as a team. When I was in class 5, I wanted to be a pilot. At class 7, I wanted to be a policeman. At Form 4, I wanted to be a doctor. I even got qualifications to go and become a doctor. I sat there and looked at one of the biology books and just took off. And what made me get interested in financial services was my strength in maths, which I just gained towards the end of my O levels. I became quite good in maths, and I felt I'd like to do something to do with financial matters and economics. And so I'm the old school system, so 763. I ended up doing mathematics and geography in high school and economics, and went to campus and did mathematics and economics. So that sort of shaped my thoughts. And then I just love banking. I mean, I go to the bank to get some cash, and you just see the tellers counting. The way they count those crispy notes was just a talent, you know. And I would imagine I really want to be a teller. That was even actually the first career I wanted. I mean, the last career I wanted was to be a teller. We came from a middle class family. My dad started off as a real estate agent, eventually heading the sales division of one of the real estate companies, Tyson's Limited. And then we grew up, first of all, from Eastlands. That's where we started our life. But I never saw much of it. I was 3 years old by the time we came, and lived in Nairobi West, which is a middle income estate, and grew up all my life. A great family, 9 siblings. Now one passed away a few years ago. But being the middle child in a family of 9, 6 years, sixth born, like Michael Jackson, I think I had the benefit of not taking the heat. The first 5 would take the heat for me, and the last 3 would take the glory. So I was sort of in between. So I had to find my space in the family, and I'm glad that I had very good mentors. My key mentors are my family members, my brothers, who are very instrumental in shaping the early character development that I needed. It was a lot of fun. I think growing in a big family is fun, of course competitive sometimes, but very divergent, very diverse, and that's been the fun of it. Of course, I had a dad who was very academically oriented, so guys had to read, and kept telling us that, guys, all this wealth you see around here is mine. I can blow it up in a second, so you got to figure out how you're going to get yours, and that sort of mentality sort of put us in shape. I would say I'm an average student. I have to work hard. I'm not a genius. I have to push my weight around. I have to get to over and over again to understand concepts and stuff. And that's why I think for me the easier path was to go through math, because it's a logic thinking thing. You don't have to, my memory retention is not very high. So I have to take something that I can understand logically. So so generally it's been, we went through a system of very, I think, hard work. And I keep saying that I think that was a better path for me, because I've never tired from pushing. Mom is around. Mom is 86, quite a great lady, very strong in my personal character development. You know, the typical mother of yesteryears, who, for lack of a better word, were kind of militant. So you had to really toe the line. My mom started off as actually she was a shopkeeper all her life, right from where we started in Eastlands to when we had a shop in Nairobi West. So she was a business lady. You know, we come from those days where there was only probably one TV station, eh? So you would, there were programs that you didn't want to miss on a Sunday. But now you find you put in that shop to work until 6 o'clock, you miss your program. The next day you analyze, people analyze in school, you are not there. So it was quite an event. So mom was very intense, and she did that across. She did that across. One of the best moments I like about my mom is that she made me learn the mother tongue in a very interesting way. She would force you to read letters from the village, and as you make your mistakes, you get pinched, you get slapped. That's not how you pronounce this word. That's how, and I'm saying, if I can't, why don't you read it then? He says, no, you read it. Money never sleeps. And that's true. Because when you're sleeping, money is earning itself, right? So what that has taught me is that the world revolves around the economy. The world is about economics. And you've seen that happening this year in Kenya. We're all really conscious about what's going on in the economy, the debt issues, etc. And what is the economy? The economy is really the aggregation of all activities that take place in an economy. I mean, the production, the resource allocation, all right, the capital expenditure, all that is critical. So without financial services, without economic matters, there's really nothing that can move for you. I don't think you can stop worrying about money. You know, I told you money never sleeps. You always want the next one. There's always that urge to look for more, So I don't think there can ever be a point of satisfaction that I have enough. I'll always want to get there. So I'm not saying that. I'm saying that at least you should reach at some point in life. There should be an equilibrium. That I think I'm fine. So I'm taking care of all the risks. So anything is a bonus. You get what I'm saying? There should be an equilibrium, because if there's no equilibrium, one some part will suffer. You continue making money without living life. Okay? But there's a point of having an equilibrium, which is very necessary. So you can never stop worrying about it, because also there's so many other factors that can happen. You could lose it in a way. The risks are still there. So you just have to keep your heads up at all times. I've not attained equilibrium yet. My daughter says I'm not old yet. Huh? Yes. She still has to go to school. So I'm not at equilibrium. Yeah. But I think I'm not too far off. Yeah. Three daughters. One is a lawyer, one is a fixed income trader, works for a stockbroker, and the last one is now in year 10 in school. Yeah. Same woman. You know what I was told when I was getting married? What? Two things would happen. You get a hot meal and a white shirt. That's been my mantra. Yes. A hot meal and a white shirt. Marriage takes teamwork. I'm really happy to have had a great wife, Betty. She's been really an anchor to me. A full support system, I can tell you. It doesn't draw you back. So I just kept going, because I'm the more outgoing one. I'm the one who really wants to take the risks, but she's never leashed and said oops. Yeah. Of course, risk management, like any lady does, but not in a discouraging way. So it's really been a very strong relationship. Of course, marriages are very interesting. They have got interesting twists, but I think you have to find a way of working it out. I always tell myself I think I'm one of the luckiest men, because I've got attention from 5 ladies in the house. Anyway, of course, raising daughters is not easy. You have to be very patient. and very tolerant. Unfortunately, men get to be so protective of their daughters. So that's been a bit of a challenge, you know, as they're growing up, because now they want freedom, a bit of freedom. I mean, we always have a debate with one of my daughters about what time she's coming home, and I keep forgetting that she's an adult now. But I hope she's going to read this. Gosh, it's that father thing that daughters have to be protected. So we go a bit over and above the norm. I think if it's a son, you'd say, no, let this guy go and explore the world. But a daughter is always, you feel you want to keep her into a bit of a leash. But the girls are good. They're friends. My daughters are very good friends to each other. Of course, the competitive nature cannot lack, but they're very good girls. So they've really kept a very strong bond among themselves. I have a son-in-law. I know it's an African thing, but let me tell you now. You know, the children today it's about the child. It's about the child that you raise. It's not about the sex or the gender, in my view. I think the only issue I think the Africans had was what happens to the name tagging. But the name tagging, I can see even today, girls still keep their dad's names, and so I don't think it ever disappears. But I think in terms of whether that's a very important subject to me, it's no. I'm a very big champion of the girl child, of the woman, of supporting diversity. In fact, here at the NSE, we are champions in the industry in terms of driving gender diversity and letting even girls come to leadership. I mean, and some of the greatest people in the world today have daughters. I mean, look at Obama. He was the president of America. He's got his two lovely daughters, Bill Clinton, Chelsea. So I don't think that's an issue anymore. The loss of very close people. Losing my dad when I was still in campus. You know, we had a plan. I was not supposed to be in financial services. I was supposed to be in real estate because my dad was in real estate and he had set up a business in real estate. But he died when I was in my third year. And so when I came out, I tried to live the dream. Actually, I went and became the CEO of his company at the age of 20, I think it was 22. Of course, I fared very badly. I didn't know the industry. So that was a big hollow dent because this guy was a pillar and I wanted to emulate him, and he had great dreams for real estate. In fact, that was the plan I had. So I had to quickly switch careers and think of what I could do. So that was a shocker to us. Of course, further down, we lost another brother. I lost a very great nephew, and more recently, I lost another niece. So this continuous loss of people, loss of life, sometimes can make you lose hope, and you have to just keep living. I think the advice I'd give him is that he's going to be rejuvenated. If you think you're tired, you're not seeing anything yet. You're going to feel a rejuvenation in your life. The stock market is a very rejuvenating place. I came here at the age of 47. I still feel 47. No part of me is weak. So you'll really rejuvenate, and really time will fly before you know what happened. This has been long coming. I started preparing for it 1 year ago. So I'm now studying. I'm back to school. I'm undertaking a PhD program. So that's quite intense. But I'm also looking at playing a bigger role in the financial services, doing a lot more on the alternative investment space. We've introduced new products that I think are going to be great. Things like real estate investment trusts. It might take a shape or form of a job. It might take the form of a consulting services. It might take the form of advisory. That's still early days for me to predict. But immediately, I'm taking a nice break just to unwind a bit and just to sort of discover myself a bit. One of the things is that I enjoy sitting down with friends. I enjoy football a lot. Very active. I'm a very serious fan of football. I watched Africa Cup of Nations throughout late nights, and my wife was like, "What is all this? You can't even sleep." I say, "Yeah, I can't sleep." So I love football. So I catch up with that. I love any form of sports. I'm doing cricket. I came from a primary school that was very good in cricket, so I can watch cricket the whole day and watch. So sports is fun for me. Socializing, interacting with friends, outdoors mainly.